Now, being the heart of Dixie, so goes Clanton, so goes Dixie, so goes Dixie, so goes the nation, and so goes the nation, so goes the world, and the country that controls a possum will control the world.
The sweet, cool breath of a possum is like a midsummer's night dream. As the Mayor Clark has said so many times, had we the personality of a possum, we could have conquered potentates.
At City Hall, they call him the Possum Man. Oh yeah, that's our man, Basil Rathburn. Basil Clark.
Well, in 1969, we done and put a man on the moon and hadn't done the first thing about a possum. Now, can you all imagine that? Hadn't done the first thing about a possum. Went over to Auburn University, there's $10 million worth of building going on there, and not one square inch of that space was allotted to possum science or possumology. I mean, we was in bad shape. I decided right then we're going to have to do something about the possum. Been here 130 million years and hadn't done the first thing about it. As important as he is to this country, a lot of folks wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the possum. Back when they was catching their victuals instead of raising them, they had a hide on the bone and meat in the pot. And sold them hides in the springtime for enough guana to raise a crop with and enough bullets to get out and shoot something good to eat with. But that was the mainstay of the southern people was a possum. A lot of folks call it opossum, but we call it just plain possum. We have registered possums, and that's the registered name is possum. The O on the possum is invisible or silent, just like the P in swimming. Well, we organized a corporation back in 1971. We had a possum show in 1970 and found us a world's champion possum and a world's champion possum dog. So we incorporated, and we're a legally registered association. That is, we register possum just as legally as dogs, cows, American Hereford Association, or the American Kennel Association, or anything else. And we register them. We have possum with pedigrees, possum with, well, I'd say impressive pedigrees. And we are the last piece of free enterprise left in the United States today after 200 years. The possum ranching is the only thing you can do without the government monkeying with you. And this country's in bad shape when the government is controlling or monkeying around with everything in this country except possum ranching.
Beauregard is the world's most perfect possum, and we try to raise our possum here on the possum ranch to measure up to him, and of course try to have the best in the show in everything.
Well, Beauregard was a mighty good possum. Beauregard 1 was a type possum to do anything you told him to do. He was the world's most perfectly developed possum. He had a lot of character. Everybody liked him. He was a mascot for the reading program of 3 counties. All these little kids around here read an extra book that summer because Beauregard says, read an extra book this summer. We carried him around and let all the kids. He loved kids. Curtis Smith had Beauregard on his Big C possum ranch, and it was about breeding season, and Curtis left Beauregard to breed. But he forgot to go back and tell him to stop, and one day he went back and Beauregard sitting there all emaciated and gone with nothing left but a smile.
I know that you, like all of us, are concerned about the overcrowded cat population in this country. Now, one of our most loyal and certainly the most brilliant members, he's a big C breed, and for the last 5 years, he's been trying to solve this cat population by crossbreeding cats and possums. And he's gone so far, really, as to name this new animal Possum. The possum will not only be edible, furnishing a high-protein meat, but will rid our nation of rats. More important, this possum will bring the possum from the animal of departed glory to its rightful high position in the animal kingdom, as you can well understand.
We're a non-political political association. I'm elected on the Possum Party ticket here in Clanton. I received 90% of the votes in the last election. We have some mighty impressive members in this association. Richard Nixon's a member. Had Richard not been a member, he would have been a dead man today. If you remember when Watergate started, what Richard do? He just played possum. If he hadn't sold, they'd have hung him. Now, that's a fact. And Jimmy Carter's also a member of our association. Our motto is a registered possum is a better possum, and you can tell that by looking at our possums. They're a lot better than a woods possum or a swamp possum or a town possum. A registered possum is a better possum. That is a fact, and if you can accept that fact, you can accept anything. And once you do accept that fact, you can do twice as much in half the amount of time and do things you never thought possible before. And I explained that to Jimmy Carter, and he said, I'll go up and get the Republicans out of the White House, which he did. He just grinned himself right in the White House, just like a possum. We have the most strict and rigid qualifications, I guess, of any fraternity or association in existence today. The number one qualification is you've got to own property, you've got to rent property, or suspect where you can get some. Number two is you've got to prove you can raise a possum full grown without eating that bugger up. A lot of folks can't do that. You just mention possum to them, their eyes will light up and their mouth will start watering. They can just see that possum on the plate, them taters around him, and the flesh is weak. Now you take a world's international registered pedigreed champion stud possum like old Beauregard and take him out there and put him on his possum ranch to upbreed his old grade possums. I go back a week later and that possum's ate up. Now, that's a catastrophe. You can't place a possum like that nowhere in the world today, and we just can't take a chance on folks like that becoming a member of our association.
How you do, gentlemen? I'm Burton Mullins. The Honorable Basil Clark, Mayor of Clownton, but more importantly, the organizer and president of the American Possum Growers and Breeders Association Incorporated, has asked me to come up here to talk to you two gentlemen. I don't believe I've ever seen you before. Have y'all, either one of you, ever been in this part of the country before? Well, I didn't think you had. Now, my purpose of being up here is to perform a service for the president of the Possum Growers and Breeders Association Incorporated, namely this, to screen applicants for membership in the Possum Growers and Breeders Association. Now, neither one of you, I told you mine, what is your name? Would you tell me your name, please?
I'm Greg.
What?
John.
John. Neither one of you are Arabs, are you?
No. No.
Well, you may wonder why I'm asking that question, but we have got to be very careful about taking in new memberships into the Possum Growers and Breeders Association, because all of the land purchases made by the Arabs in this country up until now have been prime possum lands. And as you well know, the OPEC countries have got us tied by the neck right now with the oil and the exorbitant prices of it. And if they were to get control of our possum prime lands, we would be in a more desperate situation than we are now, because we would like control of the possum grease. And we'd like for you to become members, but we want to know who we're taking in, and so that you can become active and fully participate in the Possum Growers and Breeders Association activities, because it is by far the most prestigious organization in the world today.
That's very important, cleanliness for the possum is. I wash them for the show, and then I wash them for speeches and stuff, and then the ones that, well, we usually had one in the house and around, I'd usually take it out and wash it once a week so it wouldn't smell. If it's a boy possum, you get the cologne and dab it on him so he'll be real nice and smelling good. And if it's a girl, you get the perfume. That's about it.
I don't want to get in no trouble. Possum have sex different than anything else I know of. The male has a forked tube. It's up the nose of the female. It stays in her so long, then she blows it in a pouch between her two hind legs. They stay on there a while, cling to those little tips. Then after a while they turn loose and they ride the hair on her back till she helps them find little food. And a little while later they turn loose her and they on their own, they're about the size of a wharf rat.
He got a different system catching than I had. Of course, I was lazy, you know, but I catch them in fish baskets or build a basket, wide open splits or something, and bait the basket, and they go in with a muzzle in it and they can't come back out. And that way it's easy. Of course, I have dogs. I've caught lots of them with dogs.
That's right.
This is Miss Possum, Central America. She's from Honduras, and she has her possum Pacho with her.
Me llamo Karen Maxey, soy de Honduras, soy Miss Zorro de Honduras. My name is Karen Maxey and I'm Miss Possum of Honduras, Central America.
We're going to select the champion sows tonight and the champion boars of the whole wide world. 10 years ago, we were breeding a long, lean, bacon-type possum. That is, possum is more palatable, less greasy, and better fur on him. But we found out that possum fat in another year will be worth more ounce for ounce than gold will be because it's polyunsaturated. It won't cause blood clots for the women taking the pill, and it will not cause cholesterol. In fact, it'll clean your arteries out just like a roto-rooter. We give these possums, we judge them on a 100-point system, 25 points for general character, balance, and size. Every possum's got a different character. One of these judges don't know the first thing about possums. That's the reason we picked him, because he's going to give the possum an even break. If he don't know anything about him, he's going to grade him as fair as he knows how. A good possum has just got to have character. Even if you eat a possum without character ain't fit to eat. We look for a good head. We like a short nose with good wide jaws and a good long body, good firm fat body, and a lot of good fur on him and good hands. You know, possums do have hands. They got a thumb just like you have on the back foot. These folks out here probably don't know how to tell these things apart, but you hold them up with the tail and poke them. What growls is male and what smiles is female. That's the only way you can tell. We're going to need about 3 or 4 more possum jockeys out here to jockey these possums around here and show them to the judges. Do you have any volunteers? Somebody with a lot of nerve. Any possum that boxes the judge twice is automatically disqualified, and any judge that gets bit twice is automatically disqualified.
We had a hard time getting possum queens when they first started because nobody wanted the title, Miss Possum. We asked the pretty little girls down at the bank if they wanted to get in their possum queen contest, and they said no, that they didn't want to be called Miss Possum. Now, we went ahead and got some prizes they could not turn down, something that their mothers would make them get in the contest for. We got an 8-pound bucket of pure lard from the West End grocery, and dinner for 2 at the county jail on Sunday morning, and we had more contestants than we could do anything with.
World International Registered
Best of the show possum with 286 points. That makes him about the world's most perfectly developed possum. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You judge a possum queen on beauty, poise, and personality. And 95% of that is poise. And poise is the way they hold a possum.
On my right, we have Miss Terry Eckhart, Miss Possum International. And on my left, we have Miss Stacy Griffin. She's Little Miss Possum International. And in my hands, I have Stonewall Jackson, World International Registered Pedigree Champion Stud Possum, who will be the next gold.
Incidentally, possum fur is the 5th top ranking fur in the world today. As more animals put on the endangered species list, it'll become more valuable. I had my wife a possum fur coat made up in Minneapolis a few years ago, back in '77, I guess it was. And it's a beautiful fur coat. It's more beautiful than mink, ermine, or fox, or anything else.
No, I don't use a dog catch a possum. You don't really have to have a persimmon tree's nice to they'll come around it.
If you tree a possum up a little tree, you know you had your big possum. And if you treat him up a great big tree, it was a little bitty possum. I think inflation might caught up with him, because all I can catch now is po possum. Yeah, I can't catch no fat.
Now, I don't know whether y'all realize it or not, but possum rustling is a bad thing. Most of that stuff's done after dark.
You know, the economy is getting in real bad shape now. The price of meat is going up all the time. And because of the price of meat going up and the shape the economy is getting, we're having a serious problem around here with possum rustling. Lots of people think when they see possums dead on the side of the road that it's because of cars hitting them. That's not the case. According to our investigations, it's shown that these are possums that have fallen off of the back of rustlers' trucks.
Now, cattle rustling's one thing, but possum rustling got to stop.
They're cute, and they're good food for the table.
But you got to know how to cook them. This young generation don't know how to cook a possum.
Mama bought a possum, a sack of them sweet taters too.
We have a registered trademark possum called Tenderlin, Tenderlin. That's kind of like Swiss butterball turkey. If I hadn't been a mayor, we couldn't even eat that possum because you got to have dignitaries present when you eat them.
That's what we eat, you know, back when we was at home, is rabbit and possum and squirrels. And I got a squirrel and a rabbit in the freezer now. I always loved possum the way my mother cooked it. See, she cooked it just like I'm cooking it. And that's what we eat when we come in from school.
In fact, our possums was something special. Just like the baby was when he went to town to get a piece of candy. It's something special.
Possum died laughing, and he'll be lined up in that pan there, and it'll look like it's a laughing when you're ready to eat him.
Got my plate, I can't wait for some of that finger licking brew. So today, Mama bought a possum, gonna live like a real old
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. Sweet potato possum goes with sweet potatoes. I'm telling the truth. I've eaten many of a possum.
It makes me smile.
Chief, come over here. This is Chief Anderson, Chief of Police of Clanton. We were just talking about possum, Chief Anderson. Most people in this area are very fond of possum meat any way it's prepared. But one of my favorite recipes is known as the pickle bubble bake process. Now, the method of cooking him is to dress him and douse him in a tub of corn whiskey, preferably homemade corn whiskey. and leave the possum out in the sun in 90-degree weather for about a week. And you can continue to taste that possum soup until it becomes kind of pickly. You know that pickly, you know how pickle juice tastes. When it becomes reasonably pickly, you take him out of that and cover the possum with batter acid. The purpose in covering him with batter acid is to bring that possum back to a full charge. Now, you don't want to cover him too deep with batter acid, because if you put too much batter acid in on that possum, you're going to have a grand and glorious mess. And after the batter acid begins to bubble real good, coming to a consistency about the consistency of bubble gum, you take the possum out and bake him at 450 degrees for 4 hours. Then throw the possum away and serve the possum soup with oyster crackers, because in doing so, you get a combination of a taste of land and seafood in one meal. It's a very delightful dish. It's recommended by most of the physicians here for most any kind of disease that you might have. It has curative powers, let me put it that way. The only thing is that I really miss that possum meat.
Ain't nothing in the world no sweeter than a peach-fed possum. It's the sweetest meat on earth.
I don't like them. I don't eat them. I eat them. I eat moon pies and possum. Sweetness makes possum better.
There's a lot of things that you need worse than possum. You don't know what's in your hamburgers, and you don't know what's in your Winnies.
I just as soon to eat a possum as to eat steak.
A wild hillside goat and a possum is two of the tastiest meats.
I don't think they're put on earth here to eat, just like a lot of other things we don't understand.
When President Reagan was here campaigning in the last election, he had a very enthusiastic crowd, and they were cheering him on, and he was doing real well. And he looked up and saw a great big possum walking across the rafters, and he told his audience, says, "My Lord, just look up there, what a big rat." And one of the fellows said, "Well, Mr. Reagan, that's a possum." Well, he continued his talk, but his audience began to disperse and leave, and he wondered what had happened. And asked one fellow, said, "Come here a minute, buddy. Why are all these people leaving? They seem to be for Reagan for president and enthusiastic." He said, "Man, don't you know why they're leaving?" He says, "No." He said, "You remember a while ago when you said, look at that great big rat walking those rafters?" I said, "Yeah." So, Mr. Reagan, well, that wasn't a rat, that was a possum. So the rat, they say, if you haven't got in better sense to know the difference between a rat and a possum, you haven't got sense not to be president. So it shows you the importance of everything that's connected with the possum, how it can affect even a presidential election.
Well, usually around springtime, that's when everybody starts bringing all these little baby possums that's mother's been killed. And I won't sleep with them because I'm afraid to squish them, but in the daytime I put them in my bra or carry them around in my shirt somewhere, keeping them warm. It looks weird when you're talking to people and they start moving around inside.
Now, possum's always grinning, but he's grinning when he's laying dead in the road like he knows something nobody else don't know. And when that grin turns to a smile, that's when you breed possum. And once we got the Arabs addicted to the possum, it's a worse addiction than any dope or drug known to man. Then we would have had the upper hand. The nation that controls the possum will control the world. We ship them to New York and California for loving possums, people that don't have anything else to love in the world. We just send them a possum and they write back saying the sweetest thing that God ever let live. They just dearly love these possums.
Who but a possum would have the ingenuity to climb to the utmost limb in the tallest tree of the forest, to swing to the gentle breezes of the midnight, pondering out into the galaxies, looking and pondering about the mysteries of the unknown? As you know, the Russian Bolshoi dances are the elks of ballet. But in all of their glory and in their greatest performance, they cannot compare to the rhythm and gracefulness of a possum swinging by his tail. And observing you, I believe that you, like us, or even begin to think like a possum. Come back to see us when you can.